Hello, everyone. You're talking to the Podcasting Dead Show. We podcast about dead people, and we podcast about how the government lies to us. And we have names. I'm JP. That's my pseudonym, my handle. Justin's here with me, and we're gonna answer some fan mail today, just like David Letterman used to do.
You know how I love how I let you introduce yourself, but you just introduce me.
Yeah, why wouldn't I? That's what David Letterman does.
Keep doing your thing. I'm listening.
David Letterman would be like, tonight on the show we have Zoe Deschanel. Zoe, come on down. She come down and then he'd also have his mailbag segment. You know, mailbag. And then he would, and then what I'd love, he would, take the letter out and then just throw it.
Are we podcasting about our mail, or are we podcasting about David Letterman?
You didn't like David Letterman, did you? You're more of a Jay Leno guy. I can see that. You're more of a Jay Leno guy. Did you hide in a closet to get your job? Just like Jay Leno? Jay Leno would literally hide in a closet during like these big like corporate meetings and get inside information, and that was a big part of how he got the Tonight Show over David Letterman.
No, I didn't know about any of that. Nope, never really
never hid in a closet to get inside info?
Nope, not really.
Well, it works. Almost as good as sleeping with the boss. That's my technique.
So what are we here for today?
We're going to talk about some mail.
All right.
So, we got mail calls from all of our, well, not all of our listeners, but from quite a few. And you put them all in a nice bowl. We got a nice blue bowl with papers folded up in there. So we're going to dig in and see what the people have to say to us.
Yeah, so this is the point of the week in which we answer your questions that you leave us on last week's mail call and on other videos. Don't forget, you can also check out our Patreon. We'll give you more details about that after the podcast and help support the channel. We hope to be doing video podcasts here within the next month or so, as well as some merchandise for you, the listener, which we are so close to getting you, closer than we've ever been. In fact, maybe today we have a meeting with the guy about some merchandise. So.
Yep. I know a great graphic designer. He's got a print company, so hopefully a lot of good will come out of that for a lot of people.
So without further ado, JP, bring us in.
Oh boy, I want them to hear it. I want them to. You hear that? That's your messages. Okay. I got a fat one. All right. Let's see who is saying what. This comes from Corey Andros. You remember Corey, longtime listener. Love Corey. I'm disappointed. Oh, no, this starts out on a bad note. I'm disappointed I didn't get to be in the box. I like being in the box. JP knows what I'm talking about.
Of course he does.
Oh, now I kind of see what you're saying. You guys into Tool? I'm not into Tool. Are you into Tool?
Yep, I love Tool.
Yeah, not my cup of tea.
I've sat in my room and played Schism, however you say it, on guitar on repeat, like for hours.
It's too noisy. I don't like that noisy music, but that's just me. Their new album, Fear Inoculum, I hope I said that right, is insane. It was a long 13-year wait, but man, it was worth it. Also, have you guys heard of Volbeat? I ain't heard of them neither. You heard of them?
You literally heard of them yesterday when I showed them. So yesterday, JP and I went to get breakfast, and of course it's eluding his memory right now when I literally told him to remember this. Yes, I love Volbeat. I've listened to Volbeat for many, many years. My dad actually turned me on to them a long time ago, and I love their mixed sound. I love how they have influences from like Elvis and Johnny Cash, and then you've got like some Metallica thrown in, and it's just... Volbeat is the shiznit. And I showed yesterday writing randomly a Volbeat song popped up because I have a flash drive in my car with hundreds of songs, and it just randomly plays. And Volbeat was one of them. And I told JP straight up, hey, this is Volbeat. Remember that, because on a podcast, someone had asked us if we'd listen to Volbeat, and there they are. But of course, now he doesn't remember.
Nah, I never heard of them. But I'm sure they're wonderful. It's a Danish rock metal band. Okay, maybe I wouldn't like them. Check them out. Justin's already
I showed you on the way back from a hiking trip, the one where it starts off Sad Man Tongue, where he's like, well, mom told me, son. It almost sounds like an old Elvis, Johnny Cash hybrid like intro, and then it just kicks into like it goes from like an Elvis, Johnny Cash sounding intro to like a Metallica sound. I showed you that on the way back from a hiking trip we took, and you seemed to kind of, I ain't gonna say you loved that one, but you were like, that's not bad. I could dig that.
The Euro bands, man, they got some interesting stuff going on, always experimenting. And, the Beatles were from Europe. Did you know that? Yeah.
No, I had no idea.
They sure were. Okay, getting to The Walking Dead. Who will be the first major casualty in season 10 of The Walking Dead?
Sadiq.
You think, like, God, I can only hope.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, I could see it be Sadiq. I could see Father Gabriel maybe taking a tumble.
Yeah, I think we are going to lose Father Gabriel. I don't think it's going to be the first major casualty, but I definitely think that he's going this season, which is good and bad. It's good because we need somebody that, because I don't know about you, but I actually like Father Gabriel now. I actually, you've seen growth with that character. You know what I mean? Like he's not running around in circles as much as I love him, as Rick and Daryl have done some, where the character kind of goes around in circles. Like they're for this, then they're against this, then they're back for it. Or Morgan. How Morgan's, he's crazy, and then he's good. And then he's crazy, and then he's good. You've actually seen Father Gabriel just progress as a character. And so I hate to see him go, but we do need a character that we really like to, die in a way that moves us.
Do you buy into the theory that Sadiq is like working for the Whisperers?
No.
You don't think
it's fun? I mean, we've mentioned it in passing, and I mean, it's a fun thought, but no, not at all.
Yeah. Okay. JP, that's me. Would you have a devil's three-way with your lady, or is she a one-bone gal? I would be down for it. She is a one-bone gal, though. She wouldn't even like me watching such a thing on the internet, and that's a whole nother bag of worms. All I can say is password protect your laptop, delete your history, or it can lead to a very awkward night. But no, I'm the kind of guy, I want to experience everything at least once. And I think it'd be kind of cool, like almost like an out-of-body experience, Some dude, railing your gal, and you're standing there in front of her, and next thing you know, well, you can play out the scenario in your head. But
I'm just going to go browse through my phone while you
I mean, you understand I'm addressing the question, right?
Yeah.
I'm not just pulling this out of my butt. He asked, I'm answering. Should I just skip any questions?
I didn't say you're doing anything wrong. I just said while you're going into detail, I'm gonna zone out. So you just let me know when you're ready.
Well, no, like I said, I would certainly be up for it, assuming the guy wasn't like a gross slob or anything. And there may need to be certain elements to imbibe the mood, but no, but no, she would not be into that at all. So what are you going to do? Thanks, my dudes. Have an awesome weekend. Well, thank you, Corey. And if you have any devil three-way stories, I would love to hear them.
All right, moving. All right, moving on. Brianne McCann says, introvert or extrovert?
Oh, boy.
It just depends on my day.
I'm an introvert by far. I mean,
you're introverted, but you can turn on the extrovert when you need to.
Yeah, when I need to. Like, I mean, I've done stand up a handful of times, and I can turn it on. But by nature, very much an introvert.
It just depends on my mood, man. It all depends. Sometimes I'm ready to go out in public and be in front of people and do stuff, and then like this past Saturday, I was ready to be on stage and do the Charlie Daniels thing. You know what I mean? Like it was, but then there's sometimes when we do stuff when I really just want to stay in my house and not see anybody. So I'd say I'm more extroverted than I am introverted. But at the end of the day, I definitely have like an introverted side.
Well, we all wear many masks. That's for sure. But yeah, I'm introvert all the way. I live in my head. But anyway.
No, well, yeah, I live in my head. I thought we were just talking about if you like to go out or not.
Yeah, well, I think that all plays into it,
Oh, well, if living in your head makes you introverted, then I am a huge introvert because I can't get the hell out of my head.
Definitely plays into it. All right, you want to guess who the next comment's from?
Brianne
McCann, that's right. Who was the cooler parent, your mom or dad, and why? Ooh, that's tough for me. I know that's probably tough for you as well.
Yeah, I don't really have an answer to that, to be honest with you. I know that's kind of crappy, and I do apologize, but I really don't have an answer for that.
I've done a lot of cool stuff with my mom. I mean, growing up, my dad, like, that was where I'd go fishing or the movies or whatever. But my dad died when I was like 10 years old, so I have like 3 times as much, memory with my mom as opposed to with my dad. So that's one. It's really kind of I guess little kid Justin, I mean, a little boy looks up to his dad, his dad's his hero. And in my house, my mom was far more the disciplinarian. So
yeah, definitely.
I guess, up until for like the first 8, 9, 10 years, I guess it'd be my dad. But yeah, drown in a river. Yeah, made the. I actually found out my dad died on the local news. Like my mom was trying to figure out how to tell me, And then I'm in bed and the news is on and I hear it on the news, and that's how I found out it happened.
That's horrible, man.
Yeah, it was pretty. And I didn't even realize that's how it went down until my mom told me, like, not too long ago. She was like, "Oh no, I didn't even tell you. You heard it on TV."
Isn't it weird how our brain chooses? Like sometimes we don't remember things exactly how they happened, or we remember them a different way. You know what I mean? Like it's weird how like you probably remembered your mom telling you, or just you don't remember at all how you found out, but then you come to find out that no, you heard it on the news.
Yeah. Just a defense mechanism.
Which is a terrible way to find something like that out, man. I mean, it really is. But then again, is there any really good way to find out something like that? I mean, I
think it made it easier on my mom because she didn't have to break the news. She just had to be there for damage control.
How long had he been passed before you found out, before you heard that?
He, I was, well, our little park, you got baseball fields and you got the river where you can fish. I was playing Little League Baseball, and we heard rumors. Yeah, somebody drowned down there by the river. Somebody fell in.
Was that near where you were?
Yeah, like walking distance. Like he, if him and my mom hadn't have been like in a spat, and he might have been drinking. I don't even know. But
so I mean, you were, and I know which park you're talking about. Right. So the baseball field's right here. So I mean, he was just like down here at the river.
Yeah. So
wow,
if he had been at the baseball game, he might, that might not have happened. An alternate universe, or whatever. But but no, like it was a few days before they found the body. But I think they did release the name like the next day. So.
That's tough.
Yeah, man, it was wild. But I think childhood trauma, like, kind of just, I think it helps you build character. Just you realize early on that the world is just not all peaches and cream. So
yeah,
yeah.
So at least there's some positive you can find from that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Moving on. You want to guess who this one's from?
Is it Brianne McCann?
Yep.
Yeah.
You could fight with any fictional, which Brianne, thank you. You keep mail call going for sure, because if it weren't for you, I'm pretty sure we would have canned this a while back or made it maybe like a once a month thing.
Yeah.
It's just maybe the way we should start doing it once a month versus once a week, because then you really would have a pile of questions.
Have a huge amount. We can experiment with it.
If you could fight with any fictional character, who would you pick? I mean, are we fighting for the sport or do we want to win? Because if we want to win, clearly I'm going to pick someone like Mickey Mouse whose ass I know I can whoop.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Fight Club question, like if you could fight anyone from history or any celebrity, but any
if
fictional
it's
character.
for the sport or if someone, if it's because I took karate and kickboxing and stuff for a while and spawed and loved it. So I do like the competitive, I like a friendly sparring match. So if we're going on that regard, number one, I got to think of someone who doesn't have superpowers, because that would be pointless.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick someone like Batman because he knows every martial arts, like Captain America, they know. So my experience don't mean dick. So who would I pick? That's tough. You know what? I would pick the narrator from Fight Club.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I would pick the narrator, not Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
The narrator.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
Which is, if you ain't seen Fight Club, I'm sorry. It came out in 99. I'm going to spoil it. They're the same person, obviously, right, but two totally different. I like the narrator. I like how Brad Pitt was intimidating looking. He was ripped and all of this. But the narrator, he was lanky and Edward Norton was very plain Jane looking and not intimidating. They picked the perfect person to play the narrator. And yet he would fight until he couldn't fight no more. So I would pick him. I think that would be a fun little fight. And then he would switch into Tyler in the middle of the fight, which would be like having his own little turbo. So that would be cool.
God, could you imagine being the blonde boy?
I would take. Oh, that was Jared Leto too.
I totally forgot about that.
And it's funny because Jared Leto, Brad Pitt kind of looks at Jared Leto when he's giving the speech down in the basement, and he's like, "We all were raised to believe we'd be movie stars and rock gods," and he kind of looks at Jared Leto when he says I think the rock gods part, which is funny because then Jared Leto went on to do 30 Seconds to Mars, which is a pretty successful band.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would pick the narrator or Tyler Durden. That would be either one of them. I'd be happy with. Because I wouldn't mind fighting Tyler. I just think the narrator would be more interesting of a fight.
As long as we're bringing up Jared Leto, I would fight the Joker from Suicide Squad.
Because you hate him so much?
Yeah, it's just because it was an abortion of a great character. So just since you brought that up, yeah, I'd beat the tarnation off the Joker from Suicide Squad.
I'm hoping on October the 4th, we're going to have a new love for the Joker.
Oh, my God, yes. We will be seeing that.
Hipsters are already making fun of it, though.
Well, of course.
But me and you and me, I and you and I think that we are just the open-minded enough. I think that we are going into this with the best mindset. Like, we've got slightly a biased mindset because we both think we're going to like it. However, we're both going in really with not much expectation. Like, we're excited for a new take on the Joker. We're not comparing him to Heath Ledger. We're not comparing him to Jack Nicholson. And I loved Joaquin Phoenix. So we're excited. I think that you and I are going to very much enjoy this. I'm hoping that we're going to come out of this saying that Joaquin Phoenix could be our favorite Joker ever.
Yeah, man. I love the setting. I love the idea. It's not just rooted in some kind of, existing comic book lore. I think it is probably going to pull from The Killing Joke. But, yeah, man, and hopefully we'll podcast about that, like, as soon as we see it.
Yeah, I would like to. Yeah, no, I can promise you that because that's right before I go to the beach. So we need to throw some extra podcasts in there anyways. So probably that afternoon we can go see it. We can come back, and then we'll podcast about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I like that answer. That was just like they said in Fight Club. Who did he ask? He was like, who would you want to fight? And he was like, William Shatner. And he's like, good answer.
Yeah.
With that, that's a good answer.
Yeah, man. If we're picking fictional characters, God, there's not one that gets under my skin much more.
But you would fight that Joker, not Jared Leto. Because Jared Leto is a good actor. That just was a crappy role he was handed.
I would fight that version of the Joker.
Yeah, I'd be down to join in that fight if you wanted a little help.
Yeah, hey, man. I think we could all pile on him. Is it my turn? My turn to draw?
I think. Let me see. Did I draw that one? Let me look at the questions real quick. I think I did. Hold on.
Pretty sure. So I've got two over here. You've got two over there.
Yep,
okay.
Yep. It's on you.
All righty. Want to guess who this one is?
Is it Brienne again?
It's Brienne again.
Okay. You know what must have happened when I was putting these in the bowl? I must not have mixed them in the way that I should have. So let's mix these up a little more. But I mean, not that we don't mind.
No.
But I'm just saying, I thought I would have. Okay, maybe we'll have a little more.
All right. Brienne says, would you ever spend an entire evening in a jungle alone?
Yes. I don't have to think about that.
Is this like a Naked and Afraid kind of thing? Or?
No. The yes I'm saying to is I get to prepare.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you're talking about, who wants to go to a jungle unprepared? Right, you know what I mean? Right. Like, I like survivalist stuff, but at the end of the day, I don't want to die. So if it's like, you can go, but you can't carry anything. Why would I want to do that? That doesn't sound fun.
I don't know, man.
No, if I can carry it out, and I'm not a glamper. Like, I like to think the only luxury when I go hiking and backpacking, I do try to minimalize it as much as I can. Like, I don't like to carry a small TV and lotions. And I go and I carry just a minimal amount of food. If there's something out there that I can eat, I'd prefer to do that. I love to fish and catch my own stuff, which I'm not going to lie. I've literally never been backpacking and caught a fish cooked. I could, but I've never actually done that. I've caught fish, took them home, we've skinned them, cooked them, all that good stuff. But I've never actually done that on a camping trip to where I've caught and ate my dinner, that night. But I know I could. But I would want to have like a tent. I'd want to have something to make shelter, be it a hammock or a tarp. I'm going to need if I can carry some things I need to ensure my safety. Then yes, I would be fine. I would. It'd be cool to spend a night alone in the jungle. Be scary.
Yeah, it would be, man. I'd have to have some kind of guide because, it's not just like the jungle cats. You got spiders the size of plates.
Oh, yeah.
You got mosquitoes carrying malaria. Some parts of the world, you got jungles that are just roamed by, like, guerrilla, like guerrilla units of like just military guys with machetes and AK-47s. I mean, I don't know, man. It'd be too scary for me alone. Anyway, I'd love to go on like a safari and see all.
You
the
and
stuff.
I could go. That'd be fun.
Yeah, man.
We could go together.
Set up a safari.
Well, there's a guy named Joe Flowers who does these trips, and I think it's in Brazil. He takes you to like the jungles down there and teaches you like survival techniques and stuff like that. And I would love to. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm definitely not a survival expert, but I've definitely done my fair share of like studying up on it and practices and stuff like that. But you can always learn more. And I've never done much learning in terms of jungle because it's not somewhere I anticipate ever being. So I would love to sign up for one of those Joe Flowers classes because I've got a couple of knives that he designed too, like the Tops Brachimo.
Right.
What else? He's designed a couple of knives that I have. But yeah, so Joe Flowers does that. But yeah, I would. I mean, and if I had to do it alone, I'd do it alone. But it's just life's short, man, and I know that could cut your life even shorter. But it would be so cool to just be able to say you did it.
It would be, man. Like I said, I'd love to go down to Peru, but again, just going to one of those places, man, unaccompanied, not, just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if it's one of those things where it's like we're going to drop you there with nothing, no information, then no, that's just asking to die. I'm not too macho enough to admit that I probably would survive that. I don't, but if I'm allowed to kind of prepare, maybe do a little research up on it and stuff like that, then yeah, I'd be down. In fact, if we have many more nights like we had last night, it felt wonderful last night. Too many more nights like that, and I will be back to doing some overnighters.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how we keep doing this again. Brianne, please keep it going. You are a sweetheart. You're the reason we keep doing. But I don't know all these questions, and we keep just drawing Brianne's. All right. Is there any myth or mystery you want to solve before you die? Ooh. Yes, but what is it?
Yeah, like the lost civilization, man. We've talked about it before. Just like a advanced civilization that predates, ancient Egypt, goes back further than 5,000-10,000 years ago. Just a civilization that was wiped out by just a worldwide cataclysm, and that the Sumerians and the Egyptians built what they had off of this decimated civilization. That's what I really want to get down to, like the root of human civilization, whether it goes back 10,000 years, which is kind of like established, or 100,000 years. So that's what I'm really interested in.
I mean, if we can go that deep, I was thinking simple stuff like who killed JFK, but if we can go that deep, I'd like to know how the universe started.
Yeah.
I mean,
there you go.
Let's go beyond that. Like, was there a Big Bang? Was there a creator? Like, I would love to. That would actually be the ultimate mystery to solve was how are we created? Was it by intelligent design or was it by chance? Like, that's probably my mystery would be the existence. Mm-hmm. That would probably be mine if I had to.
That is the big one.
Like an existential thing.
Yeah.
Like, how are we here? Are we created by a creator? No. But yeah, so good question.
Yeah. Oh, is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see who we have got. All right. Eternal Wreck. If you got offered to be a walker in The Walking Dead, how would you want to portray a zombie? Well, that's interesting.
Like a zombie?
Yeah, but would you want to be like freshly turned? Would you want to be like,
I get. I'm like, what could we really throw into it? I mean, like they want you
reinvent the role of the zombie.
Well, Eternal Wreck, I would want to be the best damn zombie that I could be. That's how I'd want to portray it. I would definitely want to portray. I'd want to be one of those iconic walkers. Like through The Walking Dead, you've had those walkers that stood out, right? Like the girl with no legs at the first episode.
Yeah.
Also, to me, the first zombie that Rick killed is pretty iconic. Which I think wasn't he a member of Anthrax or something? The band.
I think you told me something like that.
Don't quote me on that. Might be wrong. Also, you got the girl with the big eyes from I think season 2 when they're all on the road. So you've got the camper walker that Andrea stuck in the eye with the screwdriver.
Yeah.
Like I would just want to be one of these iconic walkers that only had a moment on the screen, but you always remember them.
Yeah, man. The one just kind of wandering through the field is a
yes, exactly.
Yeah, that would be a cool one.
That's how I'd like to portray it. I would like to have Even if it's just a few seconds, one of those memorable. And there was something weird in the first episode, if you pay attention. There was that Jim Carrey-looking walker. If you pay attention, go back and watch. He was sitting in the seat on the bus. And he looks at Rick when Rick goes by, and he gets up off the bus, and he walks off the bus. And you see him a couple of times. Like, they put a lot of emphasis on this walker, like there was going to be something to it. And then there wasn't. Like, they just kept going back to this one walker. But yeah, look that up. It was, or go back and rewatch the first episode. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's kind of bizarre, but yeah, I mean, there's just some iconic like walkers out there, and I would love to be one of the iconic ones. You know?
Yeah, like the Merle walker, which I know that's like a main character that was turned.
Oh yeah, or that walker that killed Dale.
Yeah,
you know, just have like some kind of impactful part, or the whale walker. You know, that was stuck in the whale.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's a lot of them when you think of it, a lot of iconic walkers. I mean, you've had so many that would just have blended into a crowd or just had no important role. They just were standing in a doorway and Rick, like, shot them and kept moving. But, I mean, then you did have some that had some parts that you'll never forget.
Are they still casting for, like, extras for The Walking Dead in Richmond? Wasn't that?
They were. I don't know if they still are now. And look that up. But it'd be really cool if we could.
Yeah, it would be, man. I'd want to be like a freshly turned walker, you know, just like
a little more active, not quite like, so rotted.
Like people who cared about me watched me go, and next thing you know, like I'm just up and chewing into somebody's, you know, throat or something.
That's dark.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, I don't really. I mean, I guess it depends. For me, it depends more on the scenario, I guess, to how rotted I am. You know, if I was in a well, then yeah, more rotted, the better, the grosser. Oh, man, and I think water, you deteriorate. Do you deteriorate faster in water?
I would think so, yeah.
All right, this is a long one. This is Jeep. Oh, by all means, do some more fan fiction. That one you did last week was some of your most hilarious stuff yet. If I could do something and then be able to erase it the next day, I would be out there stealing cars like a SOB. And taking them for test drives, probably racking up a lot of speeding tickets along the way. Here's the mail call question. If you could own any new car or truck, what would it be? I really like the new Ford Ranger, but I would not mind having the Jeep Gladiator either. New vehicle, JP. If you could have one brand new vehicle. Now, not thinking like, I know you want like a classic Cadillac, all that, but no, think about a new vehicle. What's something new that you want?
Well, Jeep, number one. I have a Ranger myself. It's not running right now. It's an 02 Ranger, but I'll love it.
But when I met JP, it was running. That was what I knew JP as, the guy that drove the red Ford Ranger.
Yeah, loved that car. But no, man, I've seen, and I don't know if they've released it yet, but the brand new Bronco, like the reintroduction of Bronco, that's something I'd really like to have.
That's as cheesy as it sounds. That's probably the same. Actually, I went to the dealership not too long ago to get one of several things. I wanted. I really love like Toyota Tacomas, and I mean, I actually really like GMC Sierras too, like the big trucks. And I went to go get a big, like, full-size truck. That was my deal. Like, I have a jacked-up Toyota at home, but it's an older Toyota Tacoma, and I wanted a newer one. And, so I went to go get it, and they didn't have what I needed. Well, the dealership, and the dealership is a wonderful dealership, and I know that they would have if I would have waited, but they didn't really have what I was looking for in stock in terms of trucks. And so but this is also one of my clients, you know, we do sales.
Yeah.
So I couldn't just be like, well, I'm going to go to another dealership.
Right.
No, thank
you.
you.
Can't be like I'm pricing around.
Yeah. Or say, no, thank you. And then later they see me on another vehicle and be like, you didn't get that from us, did you? Yeah, I did. Sure I did. Remember? So I was like, well, damn it. I either have to get nothing and wait, or I need to pick something from the lot. Yeah. And then I ended up finding what I got, which was not at all in the realm of what I thought I would ever be driving. But this one particular model I really liked. But before that, I was actually almost about to roll out on an FJ Cruiser. Mm-hmm. I love those Toyota FJ Cruisers. They're like a mix between a Bronco and a Jeep.
Okay.
But it was solid white, and I wanted one with like blue and the white top. Or like, you know, the red with the white. I like the whatever in the white top. Reminds me of the Broncos.
Yeah.
So I didn't go with that, and then I almost got a Jeep Wrangler, but just like the FJ Cruiser, the only Jeep Wrangler they had was in solid white, and I was like, man, I don't.
Oh yeah, dude. I'd never get a white vehicle.
No, and so, you know, basically, long story short, I ended up going with what I went with instead of that. But the reason I say all of that is because, honestly, one of my dream vehicles is I love Jeep Wranglers.
Mm-hmm.
I love them so much. And either a Jeep Wrangler or a Jeep Grand Cherokee would probably be something that I would love. And I was going to get it, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't have it. However, again, I'm rambling. I'm sorry. I digress. But probably, honestly, my brand new dream vehicle would be a brand spanking new Dodge Challenger, the Hellcat.
Oh, man.
That thing, oh, God, that's my absolute dream. Realistically, obviously, like a Jeep Wrangler, Jeep Grand Cherokee, something four-wheel drive, kind of rugged. I can take outdoors, do my thing, or a full-size GMC Sierra. But if we're being wild and I'm rich and I just get, totally the Hellcat.
Yeah, the Challenger, that's kind of like the muscle car, almost like the...
Yeah, the Charger is the one they redid, and it has 4 doors. And my dad loves the Chargers. I like them, but they're not my favorite, and especially after almost every... That's a lot of places, that's the majority of cop cars are the Chargers. Yeah. So you see those a lot. But the Challengers, I think... I like the new Camaros, the new Mustangs are okay, but I think the Challenger is one of the best of the new take on an old design out there. And I just love the Dodge Challenger, man. I love it. The new, man. And the Hellcat, they're ridiculous. It's so powerful out the gate. They sound good. So yeah, that would be my dream.
Yeah, man. I'm pretty sure that's what my aunt drives is the Dodge Challenger. I mean, it's a few years old, but it's like...
It's probably not the Hellcat.
No, I don't think
if she had the Hellcat, I'd say, please tell her to take me for a ride, dude. That is, you've got a rad ass aunt if she went out and got the Dodge Challenger Hellcat.
Man, it was one of those things, she was around 50, got divorced after a 30-year marriage, and she was just to hell with it. I'm going to buy something to make me feel good. It's burnt orange.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a ride, man.
Yeah, burnt orange. I love that color on a vehicle. And it depends on the vehicle, but man, some of them it looks... I saw a burnt orange Jeep one time, Jeep Wrangler, that looked really good. Yeah. But yeah, so I have a lot, honestly. If I had to pick one, and I'm basically it's just the point where it's hey, you can only pick one, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime type thing, I'm probably going to go with the Hellcat, because I don't know when I'll ever have a chance to get one. But realistically, as you can tell, I'm indecisive. There are a lot of different...
Dude, it's a big decision, man. I mean, you're investing in something you're going to be driving for it could be 10 years. You don't know. I mean,
yeah. But then again, there's the Acura NSX. I love the Acura NSX so much. Of all the the exotic looking cars, everybody wants Ferraris and Lambos. I used to say, shoot, I just would like to have an Acura NSX. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I used to be a car guy, so it was really never one particular car that I just was that is my ultimate dream. Because it's no, I'd like to have a couple of them.
Yeah, man.
So, sorry, I got long-winded on that one because that just used to be something I did spend a lot of time thinking about.
If you were on, I know you've been watching this, if you are on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, Jerry Seinfeld pulls up, what car would you want him to be driving?
Oh, man, that is a great question.
Of course, you don't get to drive it. He's the one driving. But.
I think one episode he did drive an Acura NSX.
Did he do that?
I think. I might be wrong on that. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I think on one episode he did. Probably an Acura NSX because of all my dream car. I've ridden in a Challenger. I've ridden in Jeep Wranglers. I've ridden in Grand Cherokees. I've ridden in GMC Sierras. I've ridden in all of my other dream vehicles.
Right.
I have never ridden in an Acura NSX.
Yeah.
So probably an Acura NSX. How about yourself?
Man, I'm really not a car guy. Something super cool and vintage, like a old 1950s Cadillac or something.
That's what I was going to say. You probably would appreciate an old Caddy, right?
Yeah, because like I say, I'm not much of a car guy, but I do love Cadillacs. I don't know if it's because I'm a Hank Williams fan or my granny had one when I was growing up, like a 90s model.
Just something classic about them.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they're just super classy.
I mean, they've never been my favorite per se, but there's always, you have an appreciation for a Caddy.
Jerry Seinfeld, if you're listening, you're bound to be running out of comedians by now. So, give us a holler.
Yeah, come pick us up. You can have us each for one episode.
All right. Next question.
For some reason, not looking at but listening to you open that sounds like you're opening chocolate, and now I'm very hungry.
All right, Create Till Death, one of our longtime listeners, good listener. Is the prize drawing still happening? It's been a minute. Yes, it is.
It is. We were trying to get to 20. That was the whole deal, was once we got to 20 patrons, we were going to have a drawing.
We're sitting on 14 right now.
So maybe we'll go ahead at 15 and just go ahead and do it.
I need to look back, man. There may be some people who dropped off who, we may have 14 existing.
But 20 total.
Yeah, so we do need to look into that. And by the way, once we get our merch, which is not going to be far off, we're going to be doing random giveaways to listeners. We're going to hook up the patrons. So, yeah,
and I don't know if you can check this, but if you can, we actually have not pulled any money off the Patreon yet.
No, we
not
haven't.
$1. So it's not like we've been having milkshakes and wild, all the wild orgies one can have with $200.
Wild sex, that's my two favorite things.
Because with $200 in our area, you probably could have an orgy and some milkshakes.
Yeah.
But we haven't pulled $1 off of it, and it's because we were kind of banking it up, letting it get to it. Because the first thing is merch. Then the next thing is getting some better equipment. Like we want some nice cameras, and the mic setup we got is pretty phenomenal. To be quite honest, I don't think our mic setup could get much better.
No.
But the merch is the first, and that's the thing too. Let us know in the comments. Here's an important thing. So patrons get free merch. Like we're gonna definitely, our first wave of merch. Every patron, past, present, is gonna get something for free as a way to say thank you. But there's so many things. Like we want to do stickers. We also want to do shirts. One thing I thought about: what about pop sockets?
Oh, dude, that'd be so cool.
I mean, they're really, from our perspective, they're not that expensive to make. And I feel like, listeners, would you like pop sockets? Because right now our ideas include the following: T-shirts, stickers, now pop sockets, bandanas.
Hats, which are a little bit more expensive, so that may be on the next run of stuff. But.
And maybe koozies.
Yeah.
So what out of that list interests you the most? We want to give you things you're going to use, like stickers. I feel like stickers are a definite because, I mean, why not? They're inexpensive, and I mean, so stickers are definitely probably going to happen, and obviously T-shirts. But like hats, do you really want hats or pop sockets? Are they more practical? A lot of people. I have a pop socket. JP used to have one. Yeah. They're pretty practical. Everybody loves them and uses them. So would a pop socket be better than, say, a koozie? Or would it be better to do keychains? Let us know. We want to give you what you want.
Mm-hmm. But no, stuff is
like those prostitutes that we hired for the orgy. We want to give you what you want.
Yeah, and I always get my money's worth. But anyway,
speak for yourself.
Yeah, stuff's coming down the pike. We will be talking to a graphic designer very shortly.
Very shortly. But yeah, did you draw that?
I think you drew that. Yeah.
Speaking of pop socket, I now realize I need to move mine up because I can't really reach
you
the
don't
top.
like the placement?
No, I thought it would be better at the bottom, but I need to move it more middle. Darn it. Brianne McCann, how would you describe your dream home? Fucking huge. No, I mean, it just would have everything I like in it. I don't think my dream home would necessarily be big. I think that's one thing, honestly, man, I've not spent, like you said, you're not really a car guy. I haven't really ever, most people have, and they think it's weird. I've never really spent much time designing my dream home in my head.
Yeah, I'd like a 2-story cabin, nothing huge, nothing super fancy, but just out in the woods, on a mountain, overlooking a lake, not like bare bones cabin, but just like a nice 2-story cabin, and just, write novels and occasionally murder people.
See, if you listen a long time, you know that I love to write. So JP's dream is very, very similar. I guess that's why we podcast together, because JP and I are very, very similar. JP shares a little bit more of his personal life than I do, but aside from that, we are very, very similar in the thing. Like that, to me, sounds heavenly. A nice 2-story cabin kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Right. I can wake up, maybe go outside and pack a little something,
yeah,
and,
man.
Get my day started, and then maybe have a nice cocktail about lunchtime and start doing some writing. And like, that sounds heavenly to me. Like, that sounds like a true paradise. Mm-hmm. But there are, if we're being crazy here, and it's like with the car, it's a dream house. One thing that I suck at, but I very much enjoy, that I just think would be cool, I like to have a bowling alley. I mean, it's your own bowling alley.
Yeah.
Just get, I know that I'm going to start kind of coming out of my shell a little bit on the podcast, because I guess being so straight-laced makes me really boring. But, I would love to get absolutely wasty pants and bowl without having to worry about being thrown out because I'm endangering other people. You know what I mean? So,
what kind of crazy bowling are we talking about?
well, I mean,
here?
when you're drunk, you can't really control where the ball goes as well.
Are you gonna have like midgets set up at the end of the lane as pins and just mow them down? What kind of crazy stuff are we talking about?
I hate when you get in my head and figure out my plans.
But, not only that, dude. One other thing would be like a nothing fancy, but just an apartment in like Brooklyn or in New York City.
I would love to be rich and just
really cool.
own that, but not live there 24/7.
Right. You have the option.
Right. I can go stay there. Like if
Yeah.
this is talking like, let's say this podcast got us a late night show or something.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. We just made ridiculous like PewDiePie money from YouTube. Then it would be, or SoundCloud or whatever, it would be really cool to just have an apartment. Hey, maybe if we ever started making decent money, if nothing else, we could go in halves on one.
Yeah.
And then basically just you go there whenever you want, maybe go stay for a month or two, and then I go stay for a month or two. And, you know.
Dude. I don't know, a mutual friend, I don't know if he mentioned it to you, but it was a comic based out of Greensboro, just a little ways down the track from us, ended up getting hired, I think, by the Jimmy Fallon show. Just a just a mainstay comedian.
Is he a writer on the show now?
Yeah, just a writer on the show. So.
That's just what gets me too. Is some of these people are naturally funny, but you think they're funny, and then you find out they've got writers.
Oh yeah, dude. It's like we were talking about yesterday, man. Howard Stern. A lot of the funny stuff he said was handed to him in notes by like guys like Benji and Jackie the Joke Man Martin.
Artie Lang, what he said, right?
Well,
writing jokes,
he
and then they
to,
were like, "Hey, it doesn't work for Howard."
Yeah,
but you're funny, so we want you to do it. But like he was writing jokes for him for a little while.
Yeah,
right?
Artie Lang was the first person ever on the show to just have his mic turned on all the time. Like nobody else just automatically had a mic they could speak into whenever they wanted.
Right.
Like imagine that. Like I couldn't say anything unless I saw you put that mic button on so I could speak.
And let's just say for the record, I love that in this scenario you put me as the superior one.
Well, you have the buttons. I don't have any buttons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can reach them, though.
It would be. I'd have to do a lot of leaning.
Yeah.
Have to do a lot.
I do, too. I'm laid back right now. I'd have to lean up to do them.
But yeah, it's great. Even Robin, his sidekick for years and years and years before he even made it big, can't just chime in whenever she wants. That's crazy, unless things have changed in recent years.
Haven't listened in a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I would like in a house. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, just a nice sized. I want it a little roomy. I don't want it like showing off big. But I want to have room, extra rooms to store stuff in or turn into this or
you
whatever.
Don't need to be like Shaquille O'Neal with
it doesn't have to be
a 100-acre house or anything.
A 100-acre house.
It's crazy, man. I saw the square footage.
At that point, it's called a castle.
Yeah.
Or like the Resident Evil mansion from the first game.
But I mean, guys like him, Michael Jackson, dude, they had enormous homes that took up acres. I mean, I have no idea why.
Will Smith had a humongous house too. A lot of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so good question.
Is it my go?
I think.
Oh, I think so. Reaching. All right. All right, Kristen. Sticker Mule and Redbubble are possible vendors for merch. Who do you guys have in mind for producing items you will sell?
Well, that's funny you asked because Sticker Mule is who I was talking about. Remember yesterday, maybe?
Yeah.
Was it yesterday? It might have been on the podcast. We were talking about, we have a guy that's going to do like the shirts and stuff. But I was saying for stickers, I want to go another direction. And that's what I was thinking of, a Sticker Mule, because they're so affordable and they send you a ton for very little. And so Sticker Mule's probably who we're going to go with as far as stickers. And I don't know if they do pop sockets, but if they do pop sockets and you guys want pop sockets, then, maybe that too.
I would just love to see all our listeners from across the world just putting stickers here, there, and yonder, man. Or taking selfies with our shirts. It's going to be a cool thing.
Yeah, that's especially, man, being that a lot, we don't advertise locally. So all of you listening are pretty much, a good distance away. And even if not, you're in an area that we don't frequent often.
Right.
So it's really cool that, like, even if you're neighboring somewhere in North Carolina, you're still somewhere we don't go often. So just having you wearing our stuff representing down there is such a cool thing. All the way to our pals like Dan Ashtown and Jovi Gal.
Right.
England and New Zealand.
Yeah.
Repping our stuff there. And Heidi, where is Heidi from? Is it Sweden? Or is she from New Zealand too?
I know we've got some listeners in like Australia.
Yeah.
And maybe South Africa.
So, yeah, like the thought of people there with our stuff is the coolest, most exciting thing.
Like the closest listener I can think of would be Jeep. I don't know if you know of anyone closer.
And I'm going to be right down by her here in like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah,
I'll be at Ocean Lakes, Jeep.
Yep.
Ride by and toot.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't get here fast enough. I have been so stressed. I've been more stressed. Like I've told you, I wanted to go talk to a therapist because I've just been so tightly wound the last few months, and just I'm stressing things I shouldn't have stressed. And
changes within the company, baby, all that stuff, man. It's been a big year.
Yeah, it has. I'm ready for it to be over. Like, I don't know why some of this stuff should have been the happiest times of my life, but honestly, I just want to find a hole and go jump in it. So
man.
I'm ready to get 2019 out of here. Like, I'm not in a good place, so I am ready to. So I think a vacation is going to really help.
Oh, hopefully so.
And if it doesn't, then maybe I just won't ever come back.
Yeah, just disappear.
So where did you draw that one?
Yeah.
All right. Kim Younger, what science from a TV show will you never forget? Anything Bill Nye.
What science? So we're talking about like actual science shows?
Mm-hmm. Well, JP believes in the flat earth theory, so I don't think science really applies to anything that he likes.
I will say I've learned a lot from different guests on the Joe Rogan Experience. I do like Joe Rogan's had a lot of really, profound guys on there, whether Graham Hancock or what was that AI guy? Like a freaking what's the like big like real life Tony Stark guy?
Oh, Elon Musk?
Elon Musk, yeah, he's been on there. So I've learned a lot off of just Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan's podcast is awesome for so many reasons, and one of those reasons is that even though, yes, sometimes it gets wild and kooky depending on the guest, you learn so much from that show.
Yeah, you really do. So
I mean, it almost feel like, it's more educational than half of the school programs.
Also, if we're going way back like you did, remember Magic School Bus or whatever?
Yeah.
That was another good one.
One of my favorite vines, or I don't know if you call it a vine or a meme, but it's like where they're in a body and clearly, if you look close, you can see the rectum in the background of the bus. You know what I mean? And
nice.
It's like a straight up wrinkly old booty hole. And it's hilarious because, the girl asked, "What is that?" And I don't think she was pointing to the booty hole, but somebody took it and freezed it and zoomed in on the booty hole, and it was that girl going, "Girl, that's a booty hole."
Yeah.
Oh man, girl, that's a booty hole. I stuck a whole bag of jelly beans up my ass. You really would have loved Vine.
Yeah. Well, all right. I think no. A couple more. I got a big one.
That's when you know you're from the South. If you're from the South, and even if you're not that country and you've never said the word biggin, I don't really believe you're from the South.
All right, Heidi L.
Hey, I was just talking about Heidi.
Oh,
remember I just said Heidi. Yeah.
Which one of the Walking Dead characters is the closest match with your personality? I think I'm like Negan, but without violence. I'm making jokes all the time and can also be very sarcastic when I want to. And I swear like a sailor.
I think I'd kind of be, honestly, if we're being completely honest, I think I'd be a cross between Rick and Daryl.
Ah, man, that's tough for me. I think I would be a cross between Merle and Glenn. Does that make any sense?
I think that's perfect. And if I was trying to think, I was thinking of you, and Glenn popped into my head.
Yeah.
Merle didn't, but now that makes, yes, I could totally see you being.
Inappropriate comments,
yeah.
Intermittent drug use.
Yeah, I totally could see that. But I don't know. If I'm wrong, who would I be?
Now, who did you say?
I said, honestly, thinking about my personality and my temperament, it would be somewhere in a cross between Rick and Daryl.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because like Daryl, if I get irritated or pissy, I'm just going to not talk. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to go
your own
shut
way.
myself in my office or go for a ride. You know what I mean? Like I'll do that even if I'm not mad at you, but I'm not in a good mood.
Yeah.
I just kind of shut off and I want to be away from everybody. But at the same time, there are a lot of times when you and I are riding and talking about stuff and just our viewpoints, I feel more Rickish. But I don't know. Who would you say? If I'm wrong, tell me.
That's a pretty astute assumption.
I would like to have I would love to say like I'm like Jesus, because I definitely, used to do a lot of the kind of acrobatics and martial arts and stuff, but I don't have the cool temperament like Jesus. Unfortunately, sometimes and I hate it. I'm working on it, but sometimes I do have a bad temper, so I can kind of go. But that's where Rick has a bad temper sometimes, and
he can, yeah.
So that's why I relate more to like Rick. But then like Daryl, like Daryl, I like to spend a lot of time in the woods. I love being outside. I love survival type stuff and all of that. So I don't know. That's what I would guess. But I hate whenever somebody says that they feel they're like Rick. I feel like people think that's a crappy thing. It's like, oh, you feel like you're the lead of the show. No, but I do feel like personality wise,
right,
I have more in common with Rick than other characters.
You've got a strong moral center, but at the same time, you realize sometimes things got to go that other way. You got to run somebody down with a car,
right?
Or put a bullet in their head. So yeah,
I mean the court system doesn't agree, but yes,
well,
that's the philosophy I've lived by my whole life.
They'll get there.
Take my lunch money, I run you over.
Yeah, run them right over.
A couple of months in juvie, whatever. But no, but yeah, that's who I would go. If you think of anybody different, let me know. But I'm trying to think. I mean, I can't think of any other characters.
Yeah, it's always fun when the listeners, kind of chime in, like, no, you're more like this or more like that.
I feel like without really knowing us, though, it's really hard to make that. I guess they could make assumption based off of the sides of us they see on the podcast. Right. But yeah, knowing you, Merle's, you definitely would be. That's really good self-analysis there. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else, and then we'll move on. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else I could see you being. Glenn popped into my head, but only because because sometimes when your anxiety is up, you can be kind of bashful and fleety. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where the Glenn thing pops in. I don't think you're as soft as Glenn. I do think that if you needed to, you'd harden up and chunk a knife in someone's gut. But the fleety thing I could see, but I'm trying to think.
And I'm just going to throw this out there. If, I was a different person, which I guess is the whole point of being a different person, I think Andrea, man, I would just jump on whatever magic stick was going to, get me what I needed to get.
Who?
Andrea. I'd just be the slut of the Walking Dead world,
I'm trying to think. I think that's I can't think of anybody else for you. I was really wondering if there was anybody else I could see, but I really don't. Like, you don't really have a bad temper. Yeah, Merle. And surprisingly, who would think those two would cross too? Like, you think hybrids, you think like I'm a Negan governor kind of hybrid.
Right.
And with Heidi, sometimes depending on my mood, I can be very Neganish, like kind of like, louder than most, cracking jokes and ripping on people and stuff, but without the psycho killing.
Yeah. You've never melted anyone's face that I know of.
But don't think I wouldn't.
Well, I'll stay away from your many wives. So,
so did you ask that?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right, so let's see
here.
Let
me get the last one.
Scariest film you've ever seen?
Oh,
that's
man.
Easy for me. I don't know about you.
What you got?
It's bad too, because some people don't think it's scary at all, dude. The Grudge, it effed me up. Do we cuss on mail call? We don't really. Do we cuss?
Sometimes we do.
Well, then I'm just going to say this, and forgive my language. And I don't curse, but I'm trying to come out of my shell more on the podcast. I've been in FM radio for over a decade. You get used to those straight. That's what I was telling JP yesterday. JP came from doing no kind of broadcasting to the podcast, so he just came in raw out the gate. I've been conditioned by more than a decade of FCC regulations and being on an FM radio station that all kinds of people are listening to, and so I'm kind of relearning actually. This because I'm so much more interesting off the mic than I am on the mic. So I'm trying to come out of my shell, and all of that was just to say The Grudge fucking scared the shit out of me.
Right.
Oh my God. And I love horror movies. My girlfriend thinks I'm weird because I will just stay up late. I used to, as a kid, think my dad was the bravest man in the whole wide world because he would sit in the living room and watch horror movies after everybody went to bed. I'm like, what's the point of watching a horror movie alone? Like, why would you want to? As an adult, I do the same thing. I get on Netflix and I watch, and very few of them actually scare me. I'm not going to say I don't jump every now and again, but They really don't like leave any lingering fear in me. Like I watch it and I go let the dog out. You know, I go through the dark house and go to the refrigerator. Like The Grudge, however, it just struck the right chord with me because oh my God, man, that movie met the first and the second one and the third one. The third one was people didn't seem to like it, but messed me up, man. Messed me up to this day. I haven't watched them in years, and I don't know that I would. The Grudge messed me up. What movie scared you the most? You don't really watch much horror.
I don't watch much horror, man. But growing up, like the Good Son, you remember that?
With Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, that was a great movie, but I didn't really think it was scary.
I had an older cousin who was, could seem like he was evil at times. And I was just like,
dude, that was such a good movie.
I could easily be Elijah Wood in this situation.
I'm so glad somebody else remembers. That's a movie I haven't discussed with anyone in a really long time.
Dude, yeah.
Like, I'm so glad that someone else brought that up. That's so cool. Yeah.
Also, Alive. It was a 90s movie about like a rugby team or something. Their plane crashes in the Andes Mountains. There's like no escape, and they end up having to cannibalize the dead. I
remember that.
Like I have nightmares about that, like even to this day.
So you have more realistic and see, the thing is, I don't even really believe in ghosts. I don't think I'm not, So, but ghosts scare me more than people. I guess I just always thought a little more logical, like.
Right.
I guess your fear is more reality based, whereas mine is things that I can't control. Because I remember when I was young, one of my friends was like, I'm more scared of serial killer movies than ghost movies because the serial killers can happen. But I always like, well, my dad has guns. I'm not worried about a serial killer.
Right.
Somebody from Scream broke into my house, it would be a very short horror movie. Boom, I'm here to kill you.
Yeah.
Movie over. And ghosts scared me because I'm like, I can't kill a ghost. But it's crazy what different things, scare people.
I'm telling you, man, I'm not saying it scared me, but the eeriest feeling I've ever had in a movie theater, and a lot of people hate this movie. You remember Open Water?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I watched it in theaters, man, and like at the end scene when they cut the shark open and the camera, falls out or whatever, like it's the first time I've just sat in a dark theater. Nobody moved. It was just an eerie silence.
Oh, yeah. Because that was based on a true story.
Yeah,
right?
you just spent 90 minutes with these people knowing that, they
were going to die.
Yeah, they're pretty screwed. And it was very I can see watching it at home being like, oh, this is boring. But watching it in a packed theater with nothing but strangers, it was just a very eerie feeling.
I bet. It is. I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
Gravity was like that for me, the Sandra Bullock movie Gravity.
Yeah.
I saw that in theaters and it.
A little bit of a happier ending, though.
Yeah, that one had me kind of like, and no spoilers because it's not new, but it's newer, but still spoilers. So sorry, but when George Clooney, have you seen Gravity?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Where George Clooney comes in, gives her that whole pep talk, and then they go, and then you realize that she was just hallucinating, and George Clooney's been dead he's dead, like he's gone. You thought, oh, he's back. That's the most depressed. A wave of depression hit me and just dread and just hopelessness. They did a great job of making me feel like I was sitting in her seat. And I've heard some people crap on that movie, but I thought in the regard of setting like Deep Waters,
Open Water.
Open Water, it made me feel the way I thought I think they wanted me to feel the way she felt, and they did a good job.
Yeah, man. I didn't see it in theaters. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. The Fourth Kind.
Oh yeah,
that left me with a very eerie feeling.
I saw that in theaters when she did the whole got possessed by an alien thing and was like, both The Grudge 2 and that movie share something that freaked me out in movies. Mouths opening wide. Like unnaturally wide opening mouths. Oh my God. We're talking about this and somebody.
Oh, is it Julius?
I don't know. Somebody opened that door. And it made me jump so hard. Oh, that was wonderful.
I would like to, I don't know if there's a documentary exactly how much of The Fourth Kind was real and how much wasn't.
I think they did say a lot of that was a crock of bullshit.
Right, yeah, I've read the same thing.
Do.
But man, it led, after that first, I've only watched it once, I was just like, holy moly.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. All right, last question. And then we got to wrap this up because I am hungry.
All right.
I'm a hungry man.
Leaving with the best, Brianne McCann. Do you have any nicknames? Who would you use them on?
I don't really have any nicknames, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I just go by JP because everywhere I go, there's multiple Justins. So
I really need to
easier.
give myself another name. JP and I have been talking about, for those that have listened for a long time, because if you found it, you would immediately know what was going on. The jig would be up. So JP and I have talked about continuing this podcast, but starting a completely other podcast where we're doing more. Just we'll tell you guys because you're our first wave of like loyal listeners, but we'd be playing more characters in a way, in a sense of like, you know, it would be kind of think not the Daily Show, but think more like the Colbert Report. But in that, I would definitely have to come up with a new nickname. And that would be really hard to do because I've never really had nicknames. People just have always I've been called Lloyd, which is my last name, by coaches and stuff. Like Lloyd. One time for like a day, somebody started calling me J-Lo, but then we realized that's what they call Jennifer Lopez. So
Hey, by the way, I think I accidentally dropped a question from Create Till Death.
Okay.
Should we be concerned that there's been zero news about the Walking Dead movie? Shouldn't they be doing something by now?
No. I hope it's the exact opposite, Create Till Death. And you might be right. I mean, they might screw this up. If Scott Gimple's got a heavy hand in it, then we know it's probably going to suck to some extent. But no, I am hoping that they will keep it hush-hush. I'm tired of the Walking Dead franchise letting the cat out of the bag on everything. So, no, I want them to keep it hush. You know what I mean? I want it to stay hush, and I want to know nothing about it till it starts, to be honest. I'm sure we'll get a trailer soon, and we should. But I know what you mean. I mean, he's probably talking about, like, release dates and filming locations, things like that. But maybe they're finally wising up, like, hey, let's get back to surprising people.
Yeah.
That would be my hope. But anyways, I think that's it. Let's make sure. I'm going to look on last week's mail call to make 100% sure I got them all. Because
sometimes I call myself Uncle Leggy as a,
I mean, I've got names that I get called in the bedroom, but do I really want to share those on the? Well, I did say I was going to start opening up. So let's make sure. I think that's it. I wanted to make 100% sure. Oh, wait, no, we do have some.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, we do have some from Brienne that didn't. I thought I saw some that I didn't remember putting in the bowl. What was your worst hairstyle you ever had? JP, think back to when you actually had hair. Mine was definitely frosted tips and like the wet, spiky look of like the early 2000s. I don't know why anybody thought that was a cool thing.
Yeah, I never really had much of a hairstyle. I mean, I experimented with a hair jelly a little bit here and there, but nothing. I never had like a look I went for, just, so.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, nicknames. I don't think I ever really had one. Let's see. I think that's it. That's all for the mail call questions. Brienne, you rock. Thank you so much for keeping mail call going. What do you guys think about mail call once a month as opposed to once a week? Like perhaps we just bank a bunch of questions and then just have a big old mail call.
Something to think about.
But if not, I mean, we keep doing them weekly. But either way, it's going to wrap it up for us. Look for a new paranormal podcast. Being that we don't have a concert to MC and get ready for, and I'm not sick, we'll definitely have the one up with my friend Jesse. Unfortunately, JP was not able to join us for that one, but still a pretty interesting podcast. Jesse's a dear friend of both JP and I. Always good to talk to her. And I hope you'll enjoy it. In the meantime, otherwise, we will see you, unless I get another stomach bug, as we talk about next week's Fear the Walking Dead. So,
yeah, 2 more left?
2 more left.
2 more left.
Oh, so unfortunate. But yeah, we'll catch you tomorrow and some people next week. I'm Joe. Oh, yeah. What?
Well, I was going to say you won't catch me tomorrow, but you do have an awesome paranormal podcast. I haven't listened to it. I'm stoked to listen to it. So,
yeah. Me too, because honestly, I can't half remember what we talked about. So.
Right.
But yeah, we'll catch you next week. And don't forget to check out our Patreon. I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.